Good morning, guys. So I'm out here bright and early today, and I do have a message for y'all. And I want to add a couple of Bible verses that's going to connect to this message that are just encourage me and inspire this message that I have for y'all today. Now, I'm not much of a churchgoer anymore. Ever since I've really just been building my own personal relationship with spirit and a lot of spiritual truth, just for, I believe, everybody in general, no matter what religion they choose to follow. I believe that there are a lot of spiritual truth in the Bible, and so I've continued to come back to it regardless of me not being a churchgoer. But anyway, to get into this message, the first Bible verse that has always kind of stuck with me, even after no longer going to church, was that I can't tell you exactly where it is, but it says to seek first the kingdom of God, and all the things that you want and need will be added to you. And that's not the exact wording, but basically seek the kingdom of God and all those things will be added to you. And so what I wanted to title my message was close in to close out. Close in to close out, and even further, close into God to close out the gaps. So there are times in your life where you may be in a relationship with someone and you feel like there's a distance between you two. Feel like there's a gap between you two. And so your instinct would be, if you have feelings for that person, you have a certain degree of affinity for that person, you're going to want to close that gap. You're going to want to get rid of the distance that's between you and that person so that you can feel connected to that person, so you can feel like you're not losing that person. And there are other times in life where there are gaps between where you are and where you want to be. It's the same thing. There's a feeling in you that wants that thing, or you that wants to be somewhere other than where you are in your life. And when it comes to those other things, especially those bigger things of life, those bigger aspects of life, where you kind of want to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, it's going to take you getting close to spirit. It's going to take you going within. And a lot of times, getting close to spirit, getting close to God will require you to go within. A lot of what you need is going to be within you, especially in the beginning. And the Bible also says that the kingdom of God is within you. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about that word kingdom. And it has tripped me up. It has evaded me, like the meaning of it has evaded me for years. And when I think of kingdom, I think of what we see on movies and TVs. There's in an area within a particular country or whatever, and that whole area belongs to the king. And so I started thinking about it, like, what defines a kingdom? And I didn't look this up. I'm just going based off of basically context clues of what I've seen and read in books and seen in movies and whatnot. So when you see a kingdom, there have been multiple kingdoms in history, and what you can notice that defines a kingdom is kind of their morals and their way of living. their ways of going about their lives. A kingdom in China is going to be different from a kingdom in Europe. They're both kingdoms. They have a particular area that they reign over, that they're responsible for. But the way they do it is different. They have different morals. They have different traditions. They have different ways of thinking. They have different laws. Just the details of them are different. So a kingdom is, to put it in simple words and maybe oversimplifying it, is a way of living, a way of being, depending on who you follow. And so if you're following spirit, and the kingdom of spirit, the kingdom of God is within you, then when it says to seek first the kingdom of God, you have to get to know yourself. You have to work out some things within yourself. And so to close out those gaps in your life where you're wanting to be somewhere but you're not quite there yet, you have to do a lot of inner work. You have to do a lot of shedding. You have to do a lot of unlearning. You also have to do a lot of learning too. Learning the ways of how life is truly meant to be lived. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm the one that's going to be able to tell you 100% of spiritual truth, because nobody knows 100% spiritual truth. All we can do is try our best in this lifetime, and that's why it takes a lifetime to really master yourself. And so from my experience, what this can look like, of course, going within, but what does that translate to? What does that physically manifest to in your everyday life? Well, once you make that decision that you want to try and go for a certain thing or a certain goal, or you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you're going to start to ask yourself questions. If you're spiritual, you're going to start to sort of bargain with spirit, which is a starting point for a lot of us. And then you're going to kind of let to be just to be more I'll say this, you're going to be led to have a deeper relationship with yourself and with spirit. And you're going to start to ask questions. You're going to start to kind of take inventory of your habits, your beliefs, your way of being. You're going to start to take inventory of that. And a lot of times it's going to turn into a journey where you're trying to change yourself and better yourself. And that can be difficult sometimes. You're going to start to go through experiences that you never thought you'd go through, but in order for you to grow, in order for you to close out those gaps, in order for you to go the distance to get to where you want to be, it takes growth. And I feel like I've been talking about growth for my last few videos, but honestly, that's just it's like the theme of my life right now is to grow. In order for me to make the changes that I want to make to my life, I've had to start with myself. And sometimes spirit will help you make these changes by putting you in certain situations or allowing you to see things happen in different ways, whether that's in your life and other people's lives. And just allowing you to see a different angle than what you're used to seeing, because if you're seeing the same thing, if you're viewing life from the same angle all the time, how can you grow? Once you gain new knowledge, once you gain a new perspective, then you can grow. And so, as you go within to uncover the truths of yourself and the truths of life, you're going to start to notice that you start to move somewhere, and growth isn't linear. You know, the journey to closing out those gaps isn't linear. It isn't just point A to point B. Most of the time it's all over the place, because there may be things that are kind of unrelated, directly unrelated to where you want to be, but in some way it's still related. And so you kind of have to go to all these different areas of your life for however long, to whatever degree of depth, to learn the things you need to learn, to unlearn the things you need to learn. And if you're really serious about getting there, you have to be committed to the journey. You have to be committed to yourself. And that's where spirit can come in and help you. Because just as a human, we're full of emotions. We're full of programming that maybe holding us back, maybe blocking us. And so reprogramming your mind and unlearning these things with the help of spirit, which, when I say spirit, to me is just the truth of life, and not just this physical realm, but spiritual realm as well, which is where our thoughts originate from. So I just want to help y'all see that you may have some areas in your life where you want to go the distance and you want to not be where you are anymore. And we can't do it all by ourselves. As a mere human, we cannot do it all by ourselves. We all need that spiritual help, whether we see it as something super spiritual or super religious. However you see it, through whatever lens you look at it through, it doesn't matter. It all remains the same, that there are things in life that you can't make happen just by sheer will. Because if you could, you would have already done it. So, for me, and anyone who kind of uses the same terminology I use when it comes to talking about spiritual things, close into God to close out the gaps. Get to know yourself so that you can go the distance. It is not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And so I hope this gives y'all some insight, a different angle, a different perspective on how to get to where you want to be in life, simply put. You don't have to be religious about it. You don't even have to be super spiritual about it. I've just always been a spiritual person. But the truth is in all of us. It's just been covered up by a lot of just gunk in mess from childhood, from young adulthood, from middle adulthood, whatever. It's just been covered up with a lot of mess when you neglect to get to know yourself. So I hope this gave y'all some inspiration, a different perspective on life, and I will see y'all in the next video. Be well.